Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy LS3 with another episode of Medicine Ball, where we talk about all things concerning mental health. Let that beat drop. Hey, Medicine Ball with your boy LS3 to be exact. If you ain't in shape, then at least your brain should be. We trying to give your brain a six pack, and we talking about mental illnesses, mental health, mental strength. Whether you know someone who's dealing with depression or anxiety, or whether you are someone who's diagnosed with a mental disorder or mental illness, we're here to talk about it and we're an open forum for discussion. With that said, I'd like to thank you guys for taking time to rock with me today. You could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be with me. I'd never take that lightly. Number two, I am not a doctor. I am not a certified medical psychiatrist or psychologist. I am someone speaking on my experiences as being diagnosed with bipolar disorder level 1 for 15 years. And I've been through it, whether it be speaking with your doctor, getting treatment, medications, or anything else. We're going to discuss it, man. So, whether you're someone who suffers from one of these illnesses or just need a little pick me up and tips and tricks to deal with adversity and this thing that we call life on a daily basis, this is your forum here for it. So, again, I thank you guys. And with no further waiting, let's get into it. Podcast number 8, Carpe Diem, seize the day. Welcome, Carpe Diem, seize the day. Seize the day. What are we talking about? So, people, when I discuss with them and I chop it up with them, and I appreciate everybody who's reached out to me, man. I respond as quickly as I can. If you send me something you want me to read or something to that nature, I really do take the times to try to read those and give it my undivided attention. But I've had people reach out to me, and good question has come up, man. Like, how do I go through a regular day? And more importantly, what is a day like for somebody who's dealing with bipolar disorder, which is what I have been diagnosed with for 15 years? What's it like dealing with it? So I'm going to give you guys my perspective, and I have been on this journey, searching for more self-awareness, being more positive, changing the way I perceive things and I think. And I just want to give you guys an idea kind of what I do, man, to get it going. So the first thing I want to talk about, I call it the come up, man. That's waking up, the come up. The come up is very, 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 very important, man. Whether you're dealing with most things in life, man, they always want to say get a good start. Whether it's dealing with your job, a relationship, sports, life, get a good start, man. Get a firm foundation. So, one thing that I used to do, and it was part of my disorder, was like I would just absolutely dread waking up, man, especially when it came to working. So we'll talk about, those of us who have a regular 9 to 5. And I used to just wait until the very, very last minute, and that encompassed pressing the snooze button. And I later learned, especially for me, man, those little 7 minutes of sleep is probably the worst thing for you, man. It's just gonna make you upset, man. It's like going to get some ice cream or something like that, and it's just enough in there to make you upset and give you a taste. That's what happens. But I used to prolong it and then rush to get ready for work and sit in traffic, and it produced a lot of days where I was late, man. And I, in retrospect, look back and notice that dealing with everything from getting dressed to the traffic to maybe being late to not wanting to go in, man, it was all a negative buildup. It was all a buildup, and I know a lot of people go through it. Me personally, I don't have any kids, but if you have kids, you may have to get up and get another individual, a human being who wakes up their own way, get them up and be responsible for them. So it's very, very easy to wake up and immediately start associating negative thoughts or negative patterns or negative behaviors when it comes to starting your day. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, man, is energy is real. The way that your subconscious mind works is real, and your brain associates certain things with certain situations or events. For instance, and we're going to talk about this more at the end of the seg when I talk about closing your day down. When it comes to getting sleep, a lot of people who aren't able to get sleep, I find it's because your body has to associate you getting in the bed with going to sleep. So if you're a person who gets in the bed and you watch TV or you play on your phone, your body's going to associate that with that type of behavior. It's the same thing for when you start your day. When you wake up, if you're grumpy and it throws you into a bad mood more often than not, your body's going to start associating just waking up with being a negative experience that you doubt and you dread, man. So that's very important to come up and waking up. And what I do now is, um, if I have something that's very, very early in the morning, I get up even earlier now. And I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but for instance, if I were to get up at 7 o'clock and I had to go to work or something at 8, I would get up at I now get up at like 6:30 or 7. And let me tell you why. Because I spend those first 10 or 15 minutes waking my body up and visualizing the day, man. It's just like a car, man. You can't just wake your body up and jump into, you still discombobulated, man. Like by the time you wake up, you know how you see some of these videos of people jokingly waking people up and the look on their face is just lost. I relate it to like Eli Manning, the quarterback for the Giants, well, ex-quarterback. But his face, how he always looks when he's on the field, he just looks like he doesn't know what's going on. It leaves you shocked, man. So you got to warm your body up. So what I do is I start my day off, man, and even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, I think about the positive things I want to accomplish for that day. It's most peaceful at that time because I give myself enough time to get up and I'm able to gauge my feelings, kind of feel what's on my mind. Do you have a doctor's appointment today? Maybe today you have a review with your boss. You need to gauge your feelings when you wake up and kind of be aware with them. Because right then you're doing something that we're also going to go into, but you're training your mind to be aware of your emotions and your mental state and your feelings. Because regardless, all of those things factor into you and how you react to things, how you deal with situations, and how you analyze them. So you got to take that time. The next thing I do is try to be silent and be thankful. So once I gauge my feelings and whatnot, and I know where I'm at, I take some time to try to quiet my mind and be thankful. You're just waking up. You shouldn't have a ton on your mind. This is probably when your brain is at its lowest activity starting up. To those of you who have trouble meditating, this is that time when you probably need to take you a few minutes. And, meditation isn't always about not thinking about anything. Think about being positive that day, but just focus on that one thing. You're controlling your thoughts and thinking on that one thing. Now, when you're able to do these things, that goes into my next thing, which I've talked about in the previous podcast. Take advantage of your victories. Get you a win in. If you're disciplined enough to wake up every day and have that silence and kind of listen to yourself, engage your feelings, and build a routine, what I do is I start marking that in my win category. So, for instance, if you're someone who hasn't been able to meditate, try this in the morning, gauge your feelings. And this is also what I have to do with my diagnosis to avoid any type of anxiety or rushing thoughts. I gauge my feelings, and it makes me feel like I'm starting off the day with a victory. I'm accomplishing something that I want to do every day. It starts building a routine of positivity. So, bam, right when you get up, you get yourself a victory. And I tell people that, man, and that's going to go into what we're about to talk about in our next two segs. Get your victories in. They feel good for you. It's a moral thing. Whether it be something as simple as somebody like maybe you don't make your bed every day. Start making your bed when you get up every day and put that in your win column. Start your day off with the win. So the come up is very important. Wake up, gauge your feelings, gauge what's on your mind, gauge how you feel and what's going on for that day. You could do that first, or you can do the next part first, which is take time in silence and be thankful. I find with me, it's very important that I constantly remind myself all of the things that I have to be appreciative of. And it's not a thought or an idea of complacency with me being okay with where I'm at because I'm always striving to move forward. But you want to start being thankful and being appreciative of things because you'll be able to lean on that when it comes to running into adversity or things that are easy to complain about. If you make it your business, man, even I find myself now when I go get something to eat, my blessing, I say that a little extra, thank God that I'm able to go down and even be able to just go straight into a refrigerator, grab something to eat, and have electricity. And I know it seems very, very simple, but it starts building up um, an idea of being thankful, man, and controlling how you think and how you perceive things. And being more thankful will open you up to be more empathetic and to be more appreciative. And that will change your perception all day. So I think that's very important. So those two things are interchangeable when you wake up. Gauging your feelings and what's on your mind, or taking that little time to be silent and to be thankful. If you're a person who struggles with meditation and focusing your thoughts on one thing, I highly recommend that when you wake up, take that that time to immediately quiet your mind and try meditation because your brain isn't fully wound up yet. You're not thinking about all the hassles and turmoils of the day yet. You have chance to donate and commit your mind into being thankful in silence. The third thing, get a win, man. Whether it be you committing to giving yourself that silence every morning, maybe you want to get up and do 50 push ups. Maybe you want to get up and read 30 minutes. Maybe you want to get up and meditate. Maybe you want to get up and make your bed. Do something to get you a victory to start your day. Even if it's something like you got to learn how to be able to take advantage of the victories that are afforded to you every day that we often take for granted. Here's the key part, and this is for me, but I feel and find that it helps out with a lot of people I speak with, man. If you're not in a good mood, you recognize that and you immediately start dedicating your emotional state and your mental resources to putting yourself into a mood that's conclusive to help you succeed in whatever you're doing. So whether that be in have a good day at work, because a lot of people I feel it's hard for them to separate what's going on outside of home from what they got to do with the work day and what you got to do to handle business as an adult. If you have kids, you have a responsibility to those kids. If have your manager or something, you have a responsibility to those employees. Your mood is not their fault. You got to start looking at things in a different perspective, and it's okay to be human, but I always tell people if you're not in a good mood to take note of that and be aware of that and start focusing your energy at that point on getting it together, man, and putting yourself in a mood that's going to help you to be successful, because you don't want to start building down till it works both ways. If you start off in a bad mood and you go in and something happens at your job, you're going to be turned into a bad mood, and it's hard for people to sometimes get off of that slope and they ride that throughout their entire day. We're not doing that. So to come up, wake it on up, man. Gauge your feelings or take that time to be silent and be thankful. Gauge your feelings, what's on your mind. Get you a quick victory in, man. Get a cheap victory in. Whether you skip that sweet breakfast treat that you wanted to eat today, and you know that may have saved you something on your calorie count. Whatever it is, sneak you a win in there. And if you're not in a good mood, gauge your mood. Be aware of your mood and focus on how you can change it and start putting all your energy and effort into changing your mood, because ultimately that's going to determine how successful you are dealing without adversity and things throughout the day. When you start up and you start up being aware of what's going on mentally immediately with how you think in your thought process, man, you taking your day by the reins and you're going to have a lot more control when it goes on throughout the day. All right. And that's what we're going to talk about in the second set coming up. Keep it moving. You got up, you got your day started. It's looking good. How you keep that going? What happens when that flat tire happens? What happens when that fender bender happens? We're going to talk about that next in the next seg. Check this beat. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you ain't in shape, then your brain should be. All right? We'll be right back with you. Welcome back. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3, man. Carpe Diem, seize your day. We talking about controlling your day and how to control your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and deal with adversity as you go throughout the day, man. We talked about waking up first. Now we're going to go into the second part. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right. So LS3, man, I woke up. I had a great start to my day. I'm feeling good. I got a positive mood. I'm on my way to work. Bam. Man, somebody tapped my bumper. Or, oh, man, I hit a pothole. I got a flat tire. What do I do? Everything is horrible now. Relax. Relax. It's medicine ball. So it's about exercising your brain. So one key thing to exercise and when you're working out your body is going to the gym. And that's my next subject and my next kind of point here I want to make to you guys, man. You got to look for your mental gyms. Now, gym has two definitions in this situation. Gym as in an opportunity to work out your brain. Work out your brain, opportunity of adversity to test how you're doing as far as your patience goes, or test how you're doing as far as your perception, but also a mental gym, as in a ruby, an emerald. something of value, which is what you will get as you continue to find these gems. So it's a double victory. Y'all know how I feel about the victories, man. I like stringing them together. Get you a mental gem, man. So, yeah, you had a good morning. Now you got a flat tire. First thing I try to start getting people to look at, and I try to get people who speak with me to recognize immediately is when you have these chances where adversity comes in your life or something doesn't go your way or something disappointing happens, you have to start training yourself and your brain to look at them as opportunities to gain experience, work out, and some knowledge, something valuable, a gem from these situations, right? So it's easy to get upset, but what you do is you train your brain to say, all right, look, I got a flat tire. What can I do about it? Chances are if you woke up early enough to get your day going, you're going to give yourself enough time for if something like that happens. It won't bother you. But even if that didn't happen, we know it's life. Stuff happens. More often than not, stuff happens. Try to learn something from the situation. And I'm not necessarily saying learn something from that situation, but learn something about maybe yourself. Hey, if you get a flat tire and you're going to be late to work that day, you might have to bite the bullet and accept it this day. You might have to be calm. You might not have to get upset. You may have to be like, you know what? I tried. My heart was in a good place. Bam, going forward, I'm going to make sure that I learn from this lesson and maybe I'll leave even a little bit more earlier. And that's something I had to work. Side note, getting to work early is not a bad thing. Like I don't know what it is. It's in the human mind to try to get to work right on time. Nah. Getting to work early is okay. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because if that computer's not running or something like that, you got your tail covered. But going back to what I said, find these mental gems. Okay, so maybe you get into work and that coworker that you don't get along with said something at the morning meeting to maybe bother you. Yo, another opportunity to face adversity, learn from it, and grow. Use it as a mental gym, work your brain out. Okay, let me think about what she might be going through in her life, he or she might be going through in their life. Everybody's fighting their own battle daily. Everybody's going with their own mental struggle, whether it may be seeming like a person you feel is strong or just the average person you just pass by on the street and you might not wonder why they have a scowl on their face. So try to look at it from their point of view. Maybe they had a rough morning. Hey, I'll take it a step further. Maybe what they're saying made some sense. You just didn't necessarily like it. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's bad or it's wrong. It might just not be something you prefer. All right, you move through that. Bam. Oh man, I'm on my way. Now I got to pick up the kids. Traffic. Maybe you got to pay fees. I hear that, some of these daycares make you guys pay fees if you have kids and whatnot. All right, learn from that. Bam. Maybe you might have to change your working hours. And here's the thing, man. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to fabricate this world of just everything is perfect and everything is going great. No, that's not the world. It's actually the opposite. It's full of adversity, it's full of problems, and it's full of things that are meant to throw us off of our path, distractions. But as you go throughout the day, you want to learn from these things. Hey, maybe you were late to pick up your kid and you had to get through traffic because you stopped off and talked at the water cooler for 5 extra minutes. That's cool. You might have to pay that up out of the pocket, but you don't want to have to pick your kid up late every day and pay that extra money. You don't want to get into a car accident every day and be late to work. Some things are unavoidable. And as you learn to change your way of thinking, when these problems arise, life is about solving one problem after the other. When you die, no matter how on top of it you are, your to do list or your problem list is still going to have stuff on there. That's what life is about. Life is about continuously solving problems. If you want to make more money, once you make more money, guess what? Something else is going to happen. Now you got to pay more taxes. Now your lifestyle is changing. It costs more money. Life is about solving those problems. So when you're going throughout your day and you want to keep that momentum going, look for the mental gems. Two-part. Gem one, as it's to exercise your brain, a chance to work out. Test what you've learned. Test your patience. Test your ability to perceive something. Test your ability to hear something and not necessarily agree with it, but agree amicably. Things of that nature. Keep it going, man. Work them out. Get the lesson for them. I feel like that's most important. The person with a lot of losses is more likely to win when it counts because they've experienced those losses. And if you lose from them when it counts, you're going to be able to overcome anything. Nothing will stop you. All right. So look for those mental gems. The second thing is, just like with your car, check your mental gas tank throughout the day. Listen, man, I talked about this in an earlier podcast. Your energy is finite. Your mental energy is finite. If you find yourself in a situation where you're becoming more aggravated and whatnot, you need to be aware of that. Don't ignore it. Just because you want to look at things in a different perspective and try to be more positive, do not ignore the things that bother you. Because what happens is if you ignore them, they'll appear again in your subconscious, or to always feel like something heavy is on your mind. If it's even something that you compartmentalized and you're not thinking about, it'll be sitting there. And it's like an energy. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an energy or a heaviness that will sit on you. Check your mental gas tank. Some people need a nap. Some people, it might be your nutrition based on what you eat. Some people, it might be based on exercise. It might just be based on you putting your energy into the wrong areas. You got to check your gas tank, your mental gas tank. Because I don't care how tough and how positive you are, I myself still get irritable. And it's just my close friends, I keep it real with them. I'll be like, yo, I love you. So I wanted to speak with you and let you know I'm doing good and everything. But I'm kind of in one of those moods where I don't want to talk much. Let me do my thing. I'm going to get back with you. I can just tell my friends that straight up rather than ignore them because I know that they'll feel some type of way. You got to be aware of your mental gas tank. Nobody is Superman. Sometimes you might need more sleep. It might be the food you're eating. It might be where you're putting your energy. You have to check your mental gas tank. Do not ride that thing on E because you will have a mental breakdown. We're all human. Be aware of that, man. And that goes more into, you know, training your mind and exercising your brain daily to the way that you look at things and the way that you perceive things. The third and final thing when it comes to keep it moving, how you keep that momentum and man, keep looking for wins. Keep looking for victories. That will get you through the tough times. When you've got that flat tire on your way to work, if you're able to handle that maturely, maybe you got to work a little bit later, but if you didn't freak out or have a mental breakdown or cry or just give up, yo, put that in your win column. That is a victory. You got to stack these wins up because that's what you're going to be able to lean on when we go to the final seg, which is next. And that's winding down your day of a day. All right. So, hey, man, keep it moving. Look for those mental gems. Check your gas tank, your mental gas tank I'm talking about. Make sure that you're not too irritable, you're not too worn down, you have enough energy to be able to look at these things because if you're tired, I used to play the game The Sims all the time, man. And I relate mentally and physically tired to The Sims. If you've ever played The Sims, it's a game where you basically have a little, I don't even know how to explain it, man. You basically grow this person up from a baby and you control all aspects from their lives and it's like very real. You got to make sure you talk to all your friends so one of them isn't fall out of the friend range. You got to build relationships, etc., etc. The sleep thing, it used to kill me because man, if you used to work your sim around and maybe you wanted him to do homework or work out so he can be ready for his job, once that bar reaches red, man, I don't care if your sim is outside on the patio, that joker is dropping and going to sleep right there. So it's just like that. Check your mental gas tank. If that thing is on red, man, you're liable to just let her rip. All right. And the last thing, man, get those wins, man. Victories. Store up as many victories as you can, man, and use them as motivation and kind of as a gauge to push you through those tough times, man, when adversity is on you, all right? So that's part two, keeping it moving throughout your day, man. Carpe diem, seizing your day, keeping everything going once you start it off great. So we're going to wrap it up here with the final seg, and that's just ending your day, man, and reflecting on what you got going on, all right? Yo, once again, man, you could have been anywhere in the world today and you chose to be here with me, and I do not take that lightly. Hopefully, what I'm doing and the advice that I'm trying to give you guys helps you out. Check this beat out and we'll be back with the final seg. Again, this is Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you ain't in shape, then your brain should be. We'll be right back after this beat. Yeah, yeah. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. Carpe Diem, seizing your day. Taking control of your life, facing adversity, and just looking at your day different, man. We talked about in the first seg starting your day off. In the second seg, we talked about keeping it moving. And this is the third and final seg where we're going to talk about wrapping your day up, man. All right. So you get home, man, and I stress this to you. You gotta have time to debrief, man. Just like you see these shows, they go on missions and whatnot, man. One thing they always do is they debrief. They talk about what happened throughout the day, what you can do better, how you can move forward, going on to your next day, and what you can learn. The first thing after you do the things that you need to take care of. So if you have kids, putting the kids down. If you have a significant other, dealing with them, just once you've handled a bulk of the things you do to get into your easing, the first thing you want to do, that's right, my favorite thing, get you a win. Put you a win in the win category. Put you a W over there. Why? Because you made it through the day putting these new mental tactics into place and trying to look at things a different way, and you're actually committing to sit down and think about what happened throughout the day. That's a victory. Everybody doesn't take time for themselves. I find it ridiculous. And what I often do is when I find myself looking at social media too much or whatnot, I stop and I think to myself, like, man, can I commit this 5 minutes to being silent or to keeping my mental health on point and to being healthy, man? You got to limit where you're getting these outside distractions and these outside resources from that will gear you towards thinking a specific way, man. Give yourself a win. You did it. You went through a day. You at least tried it. That is a victory, man. If that's something that you've never done, give yourself a win. The second thing is you got to be honest with yourself. There will be something that happens each and every day if you're honestly looking at yourself and you're stepping back objectively and you're seriously looking at bettering yourself and finding your weaknesses and the things that you can do better when it comes to dealing with life and adversity. Every single day there will be something in a situation that if you reflect on it, you're going to be like, man, I could have handled that a little bit differently. And that's okay. That's okay, because guess what? That's another victory. Just the fact that you're taking the time to acknowledge that you had something that came your way, you didn't deal with it, and that in retrospect you see that you could have dealt with it a different way. That's a beautiful thing. That shows growth and that shows progress. Pay attention to those things. Say, for instance, it was a day where you did okay, but you wanted to be more patient. Take that patience and mark it off, move it over into your category as something to either think about them tomorrow when you start your day, right? Because that's the next thing to keep it moving. And and that's the next thing to think about, man. There will be days where you miss. There will be days where nothing works out. There will be days where no matter how positive you try to stay, you will become frustrated. There will be those days, my friend, but as long as you're striving to move forward and become a better person, and you're at least willing to take time and analyze where you could have handled things in a different situation, you're moving forward. You're exercising your brain, man. So get you a win and then have a time where you debrief. That's the most important things, man. If you cursed out your neighbor at work today and you feel bad about it, take time to pay attention to that. Why do you feel bad? Did you curse them out when you maybe could have said something else? Maybe you want to rectify the situation. Maybe you were acting a little childish in a particular situation. And again, don't beat up on yourself. This is us objectively looking at ways to exercise our mental health and how we perceive the world around us and life's adversity and making yourself a better person, man. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you're a step ahead because you're at least trying to do something to get some type of advice to, become a better person, a better human being, man, and then start marking that. So, this is what I want to focus on, man, as if you couldn't tell this week. I want you guys to focus on getting your wins, man. Keep everything in perspective, but look at the things that you would normally take for granted and not appreciate, and see if you can get a win for them. Say you make it to work, 4 out of 5 days. We want straight greatness, but hey, you normally might be late every other day. Say you make it to work 4 or 5 days straight on time. Give yourself a victory, man. Say you can get up and analyze what you want to do for the day and be aware of your mental state and your mental being. Give yourself a victory. Say you saw a chance to get depressed and a chance and an opportunity to be mad and be down on yourself and be negative. Give yourself a victory, man. Because at the end of the day, all of this is obtainable. All of this is things that you can do. And when it comes to mental health and exercising your brain, it's a daily thing. People who have six packs and abs, they have to continue to work on those. You don't just exercise and do crunches one time and get six packs. No. If you want to give your brain a six pack, you got to continue to work it. All right. Hey, you guys, I'm going to let y'all off with that, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Remember, the Medicine Ball Facebook page is up. Continue to reach out to me there. If you cannot find me there, you can reach out to me on Instagram as well. The Real LS3, TheRealLS3. Inbox me, message me, reach out. I'm coming up with more and more ways for you guys to communicate. And I'm also coming up some things because I'm having people start to ask me about doctors or psychiatrists or psychiatrists they can go see. I'm going to put some resources into showing you guys how to find a proper medical professional, and we'll possibly talk about that as well on a later podcast. Yo, it's Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. That's going to wrap it up. Yo, I love you guys. I want you guys to remember I believe in you. You are great. You got this. Work your brain out every day. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you ain't in shape, then at least your brain should be. Give your brain a six pack, man. All right? Until next time, I love y'all. Stay up. Peace. Do what you got to do. Much love. You got this.